The Stranger Band. I tell you all about them every time because I love them so much. I'm Kenny Schofield. With me is Chris Couch and Bryce Shonka. This is the American Car Classics Radio Podcast. I do appreciate you all tuning in with us. I hope you've all been doing great. We're already into September. I can't believe it. Summer's going to be behind us before you know it. Hurricane season will be gone here in Florida. We won't have anything to worry about. We'll be cooling down by a degree a month until January. Chris, it doesn't cool off a lot here.
No, but it'll be more tolerable.
I went out to Nevada in September one year, and it was really very
nice. Yeah, that's a good time to go.
Yeah,
October.
Yeah,
it's a good time to go.
Yeah. So, have you been? Everybody good?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Bryce,
living the dream.
Bryce, you're doing good.
I'm doing good.
Yeah. We're going to jump right into this episode, if you don't mind. We're going to jump in and start talking about our main topic for the day, and what we want to do is talk about. Well, Chris, you got the topic in your hand, right?
I do. And this is based on Mecum and Barrett Jackson auto sales this year in 2024. So the top 10 most desirable classics this year.
This year.
So
what people are buying right now.
What they're looking for. Because, like we said before, what is a classic?
Right.
What is, they used to be all the 60s, the muscle cars and all that kind of stuff. And they still are.
Yeah.
But there's some surprising names on this list.
One in particular that I just kind of get on, and that's American Car Classics. Is not just American.
Nope.
It's not just cars. It's not just the classics. It's our name, title, and everything else. But we live by the rule of thumb that we're gearheads and we love cars. So Mecum, Barrett, they do not do just American classic cars. They don't do just new or old. They do Euros. They do Asians. They do all the whatever you need to do on that. So
Americans,
a couple surprises.
Americans love cars.
We do. Other countries love cars. I mean, I know Japan.
I've lived abroad. I've lived abroad in Europe. I will say, not to our level. I'm sure there's little niches here and there, but not to the American level.
Europeans love American big cars. They love the Caddies, the four doors, the cruisers.
Trucks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like
Mercedes. That's a truck to them.
Yeah.
It's that equivalent there.
I think in you and I talking about our list and putting together here and how we're talking about what we're doing with it, we got into some stuff about how the markets are for areas that we're talking about. Europe brought this, and Japanese, the tuners, they're much smaller, and all-wheel drive, front-wheel drive is a lot of that.
Yep.
But in America, America's so big compared to Europe and to Japan. I mean, you can put it all inside of America, but where you are depends on
what you desire,
the flavor.
Yeah. And so we'll start off right with it. Speaking of areas, right? Yeah. So number one on the list, probably not a surprise to many, is the Chevy GM CK truck series. Yeah. So C10s, K10s. K10s, if you don't know, like you're seeing right here, is a full-wheel drive. It's bigger, so it's a K10, right? Two-wheel drives are the C10s.
That's right. And
talk about areas like in Texas, K10s, they want the four-wheel drives.
Yeah.
They want the four-wheel drives.
I'm a Florida boy, so I'm always been a flat space, and so the two-wheel drive. And Tiana wants, like you, she likes the lifted truck. Yeah. I like them slammed. I want them to be able to be used. So I don't, bagging is always great, but I don't want it slammed to where it's not a truck anymore.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't want to bust my kidneys out like I'm on a Softail or something.
And I like them both personally. I have one. Right, Pearl.
Yeah.
Mine's a two-wheel drive, so I lowered it. Yeah. I'm in personal belief. If it's two-wheel drive, bring it down a little bit. If it's four-wheel drive, raise the altitude. We talk a lot about stances, Chris. We talk a lot about filling that beautiful truck,
that wheel tub or that wheel space with a wheel and tire, and so that plays into the lowering. You want it to be full and give it the full appearance. But C10s, K5s, K10s, these things.
The desirability right now is just through the roof on them, and I think it's because you have such a wide array of customizing them now to make them fit your flavor, right? You can do where they, you just patina.
Yeah.
Or you can put a fresh paint job on it.
Yeah.
You can lower, you can raise them. You can do all kinds of things with them. And they make every part you want to for them.
Yeah.
So I think that's really kind of helped the desirability of them.
Yeah, I like the two-door Suburbans and Tahoes that you get that are of the day with these, that if you can't find your C or your K, there is that.
Yeah.
Kind of like the Chevy, the Tri-5s. Somebody's always able to go to a Nomad.
Yep.
Couldn't get that. I could get a Nomad. Now the Nomads are so rare. But the two-door Bourbons and Tahoes are always cool with that.
Yeah, the Blazers are always, the K5 Blazers are awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, according to the auctions, 67 to 72 are in high demand.
The high.
We have an image here where it shows kind of the front ends of the different ones of those 60s and the early C10s.
Yeah.
And then, but 73 to 87, which is the last, there it is right there, so you can see, the changes from 67 to 72, ever so slight in those. But then when you get into the 73 to 87s, affectionately known as the square body.
Yep.
And I have one, love it. Love the square body. Got a little license plate says Square Life.
Yeah, that's cool, right? Square Life, I love that.
That little double entendre there. But but the square bodies are obviously they're just, the values on those are increasing every day. I mean, look at that one.
And what you do to them,
ground.
right? This is probably LS'd out, bagged for sure.
Yeah.
Exhaust is tucked up in the frame. I mean, they've gone way out. Shaved the handle, shaved the mirrors.
No vent window. He's got a solid, passenger windows. Yeah. I mean, you can customize these and do whatever it is you want to do.
Yeah, that's what we'd call a full-blown Resto-mod.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And you can go as basic and keep it a daily drive like Pearl.
Yep.
You can tell she's a truck that's in progress. You can tell that she's had work done to her. She's got big 20s on her and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. But people right now, you'd almost call her a sleeper. They don't really know what isn't going on. No,
they don't. I would agree. They don't know.
Yeah.
They think it's a sleeper.
Yeah.
I had a guy. I was in the parking lot the other day, and Pearl was running, and somebody wanted to see it. And he's like, man, that car, that old truck runs better than my car over here. It runs so good.
Love that.
And so you go, obviously, I like that. But
all right, number two.
Number two probably surprises nobody. Ford Broncos.
Bronco was reestablished by Ford a couple years ago and hit the ground running.
Yep.
Man, what Dodge did by starting up and waking everybody up to the new old cars by redoing the Challenger and Charger, they really woke everybody up. When Ford brought that Bronco out, it went.
And then the market for the classics just skyrocketed.
Yeah, the Bronco 2s even.
Yep.
Yeah, they just went through the roof. So we have seen some Broncos go across the floor. Rare numbers, first numbers, stuff like this, but I've seen them go for well over $130,000. Ridiculous.
For a Bronco.
A little anecdote. The place I've seen the most Ford Broncos of anywhere in my entire life is Boise, Idaho. And I think it's because Boise State, their mascot is the Bronco.
Okay.
So you drive around that town and it's just every single block. You see
new ones or old ones or both?
Everything.
Okay.
Everything. So
that's cool. I like the Bronco. I personally am a fan. I like the new ones. I think they're pretty good looking.
There's something that kind of the appeal to it, and I bring Tiana up again. She likes the Mach-E. I'm here again as an auto repair shop owner and everything else. I'm not a hater of Fords. They keep me in business. KMIB. but when somebody says, hey, I don't know what's wrong with my car, I can instantly point to that logo and say that's your. No, but I am a gearhead, Chevrolet guy, die hard with it, and but the Broncos, we just got done doing it. Dolphin Auto, we restored a 96 and OJ Bronco.
OJ Bronco.
And it came out fabulous. And you know what? We did that restoration. I think we billed in at 32,000 or something. But these things are going for 36 to 45 all day.
And that was a 90s Bronco.
It was a 96.
Yeah, the pre-80s are the really hot.
They're much bigger.
I mean, that's an 80, or that's a 90s. That's a 90s Bronco there.
And to me, that's four-wheel drive. Well, I can see the differential on it.
Yep.
I don't know that Ford broke anything off to give you that C or K difference in it. I think it was an XL or not on it, maybe. But yeah. But I like that. Here again, very reminiscent of the square body.
Very much. Very much. That was their competition.
That's correct. Yep. That's correct. Even though the Mustang and the Camaro looked nothing alike when they came out, you put Publix on one side, you put Winn-Dixie on the other. You get the Ford
Bronco and the Blazer
and the Blazer right next to each other. So we've got a customer that's got an '88 K5 Blazer, and he loves it, and it is sweet and beautiful. And
is that red one?
That's that red one.
It is.
And,
it is beautiful.
That would look pretty right next to that black Bronco right there.
Yeah, it would. Yeah. I like those K5 Blazers.
Yeah, we see a lot more, Bryce. We see a lot more Broncos going through the auctions this last year or two. I won't say a lot more. I've seen as many Broncos, if not more, than the C's and K's.
Yeah.
I mean, the people are buying them and selling them online, on the market. I mean, they're just
The Broncos?
The Broncos. They're trading hands left and right.
That's an older one right there. I think those are the coolest, in my opinion.
Absolutely. You think right about Africa when you see it. You just think I'm on a safari.
Yeah.
And
you put some big old horns on the hood of it. And
Yeah, that Jen, you see a lot of that in Boise.
Yeah, I don't know. You see
those in Boise?
Yeah.
Now you see this right here. Look at the hood. It says Coyote on it. So he's got a Coyote all aluminum Ford engine in that thing that's 700 horsepower, 650 horsepower. And you can't tell. You can't tell.
You would never think that.
But that thing would take off in the line and probably pull a wheelie.
Needs a wheelie bar on the back.
Well, it's got a nice sized engine bay in there too, does it not?
Yeah. Now this is smaller than the Bronco that we looked at. That was a black one. This is a smaller wheelbase. But yeah, you still got plenty of engine room. The frame is way below the bay. And that gives you a lot of room. You could put engine mount lifts and pull an engine up and even stick it through the hood, which they put an aftermarket scoop on this to give a little clearance for some of that stuff probably. So super cool. Yep. Super cool.
That's a cool one. I like those older ones, you know. Yeah. I mean, soft spot for the 80s ones. Yeah, I'm an 80s baby.
I'm a 60s guy. I was born in 66, but I love the 60, even 58s, but 60 and 61s up through the 70s. I really stop at 74, 75. But then that's when cars started getting into the plastic bumpers and all the OPEC stuff was going on, just killing everything.
It did. You know, it really killed everything for the early 80s.
But I think sex appeal went out of the design a lot. Bryce, I don't know too. You know, it's for me, I think that cars were designed back in the 60s, 50s that had
style.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Or is my daughters would hate this, but the Riz, you know, because that new sling they have.
I'm not even going to do.
One more here.
Oh, look at that one.
Yeah. Now it's done up really nice.
Real nice.
Little roll cage inside.
Classic clean.
Yeah.
Just roll that right.
Has it got a 302 logo on that, Bryce? Is that a 302?
That's what it looks like.
I can't see it.
Okay. We're going to say it does look like it, doesn't it?
It does.
So, no, very pretty. I love that they put the white top on the back and gave it a little throw pillow splash, you know.
Yeah, splash guards. I like the wheels.
Yeah, I love the splash guards, how they're stenciled on with all the bright.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, number 3. So we've had trucks.
Yeah.
Remember we always talked about muscle cars. There's 2 trucks back to back. Now, this is in no particular order. Right?
It's not. Okay.
Nope, no particular order. But the next one is going to be one that's going to surprise some people. Surprised us. The Mercedes-Benz SL class.
Yeah.
It's particularly the 60s, 70s, and 80s. Yeah. I mean, it's a beautiful car.
It is. Now, is that even a 60s?
That's a 60s, I believe.
61.
I think that is I want to say that's a 1960.
Yeah, very early on. Definitely pre-64. In 64, a lot of things started changing. I've had 2 or 3 of these since I've opened Dolphin Auto 12 years ago and got them to flip or were customers that we helped flip. And they were hard sells. But the last one probably was pre-pandemic, so at least 5 years ago.
Okay.
Market changes a lot.
It does, yeah.
We know that through the pandemic, people went in their garages and started building cars, buying cars. I know that I'm personally responsible through my lifetime for having at least 25, at least 2 full dozen first generation Monte Carlos crushed. Like parting them out, getting the stuff, and then getting them off the streets.
Yeah.
It brings your numbers up when there's less numbers out.
It's true.
So something that this is a low production, rare, how many of them were saved or whatever else, that's, a hell of a keeper. But in the 80s, Eddie Murphy,
Beverly Hills Cop.
These things started selling like mad, like pancakes. Stop it, Kenny. and there was millions of them made, and they're German. They're built tough, man. There's a tough car.
They are.
Show rust easy. They hold their own. They get in action. They got fixed.
But when you need to fix them,
pull out your pocketbook.
Yeah. And I think that's what keeps a lot of people away from the classic Mercedes.
Yeah.
That like classic cars, self included, is I just don't have them deep pockets.
if you're going to do it yourself, a restoration, this is one of the hardest ones because they are double, triple relayed. Their wiring harnesses are continuous. They are a bear to get in there.
Yeah.
Back in the day, I guess old Army pilots would tap on their gauges made by Lucas, and they'd tap on them, they'd start working again. And these were all built with Lucas gauges and stuff. I mean, so it's a nightmare electrical wise.
Beautiful cars, though. Absolutely beautiful cars.
Very simple, very clean. Here again, my age will show. I'll see a heart-to-heart car there kind of stuff and whatever. But yeah, it brings back memories of
heart-to-heart.
I think she drove one.
That took a while for me to register. I was like, what?
I'm horrible, man. I'm horrible.
That's a good
that's a great one right there, man. That's probably a 65, 67.
Yeah, those are beautiful cars.
Yeah.
I like to see I'm a fan of all cars. I really am. I know people like, oh, these are terrible. I have a soft spot for things with wheels and engines.
Yeah, you and I'll have to sit down and talk on a show one day about our personal stuff because you really have a nut that just cracked open in you. I mean, this is like going to bed, waking up in a coma, getting out of the coma, and being somebody different. Because you're starting to get into a dream kind of life more than you. I mean,
I have a very eclectic taste in a lot of things.
Yeah, but before Pearl, your life with cars was not. You certainly weren't out lining a wall in your garage with parts.
No, well, I didn't have anything to do it with.
Right.
But I've always had a car fascination ever since I was a kid. You remember the big Corvette books that you would get that were hardcovered, and you would have I'd get them at the bookstore when I was a little kid, and I would just look at those books because my parents would get them for me, and my grandparents would get them for me, and I would just sit there and stare at those different cars and I'd get the DuPont registry.
Okay, yeah, DuPont registry. And you had a Charger out in Vegas, and
I did.
You did run that.
Yeah. So I've always had motorcycles too. I have a thing for motorcycles.
Yeah.
And ones that I may not personally like, I still like. There's a place for that car.
Yeah, I have a thing for motorcycles too. I like to get on them, go really, really fast, and then give them back to whoever owns them. So, because I'll kill myself. So, all right. Number 4.
All right, Ford Mustang. No surprise. And this goes through pretty much almost all generations of Mustangs.
Yeah.
People love them.
Without a doubt.
People love them. I think they're always going to love them. They're always going to be a desirable classic car.
For me, the 350 and 500 Shelby Fastback, 66, 67, 68, best looking Mustang there is. We've got that 72 Mach 1 in the shop at Dolphin Auto right now, but that image of the Mustang to me is the best.
The persona.
Yeah, the 67, 68 Fastback. But you get a GT 350. This is my sister, Cassie, loves this 64 and a half, 65, 66 Mustang right there. They made millions of them. When the 1 millionth came off the market, they wanted to go find number 1, and they did.
Did they really?
The story behind that as well, yeah. So, but Mustang is iconic.
It is.
Yep. They take them to put bigger motors in. You take the strut towers out, cut them out, and fit them with an underbody strut, and you're able to put a bigger motor in there right away.
Yeah, because I mean, and once again, you can, like you were just saying, you can do anything you want to with them. They're very customizable. It's almost hard to go wrong.
Yeah, that one to me is sitting 1.5 inches too low in the back. I know you're going to look at it and say, yeah, it's too low in the back.
Yeah.
That was what Pearl and I went at first.
It did.
It bugged me at night. It bugged me. But no, that's a little bit too low in the back. But the front end.
It's a nice Resto-mod, though.
It is a beautiful Resto-mod. He's gone with Condiget style door handles.
Yep.
But he's kept side mirrors on there.
The grill's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's all billet. It's
LED headlights there. Yeah, I like the hood.
Big body kit, front fairing that's totally not off of anything old. That's maybe for new Mustang or just an aftermarket body type kit.
Yeah.
Yeah, very sexy.
Very good looking car. Yep. Mustangs are just as iconic as American car classics as you can get.
Everybody, and even the owners with this Mach 1 that came in, the wife said, I love how the new Mustangs sound. And you can hear them when you drive down. They're a higher cackle than the other Camaros and Chargers that are out there. They use a Borla exhaust. And so it's got a whole different sound to it.
Well, they also went to the flat plane crank a few years back, I believe.
Yeah.
and that gave it a whole different
sound as well.
Whole different
Yeah.
tone.
Yeah.
Yeah, as you guys know, I just bought a car, and I really strongly considered the Mustang, but I've already had 2 experiences that I couldn't have had if I had bought the Mustang.
Okay.
Going in reverse order, I was out with friends, and my friend's wife was in the back seat of my car, and there's no way you could have put a full-size adult in the new Mustangs.
Right.
I've seen that, and like the back of the seat pretty much touches the front seat.
Yeah.
The front edge of the back seat, excuse me. But you can't, it's not a car you carry 4 people around in ever. A couple little kids maybe in the back. But, and then also going camping a month ago. No way you could put a whole camping setup inside of a Mustang.
No.
So.
Yeah, it's not a family car.
No, those are the cars. Those are the cars that's either you're single or it's your second car.
Yeah. Yeah. Primary. It's not all that practical.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Next on the list, another surprising one. Toyota Land Cruiser, more specifically the FJ40s, and this is from 60 to 84. This is obviously one of the 80s, but these are becoming very desirable right now. Another truck, SUV truck. So like I said, classics used to be all the muscle cars, and it seems to really be just shifting. The winds are shifting a little bit, and these Toyota Land Cruisers are very desirable right now.
Yeah. G-Wagons are hot. I love the early 2000s FJs, the rounded bodies and what have you. I've said I'll always own one. I never have. I never even tried to buy one, but they stand out in a crowd. They're different. But Toyota has such a great name. Bryce, what kind of car did you buy when you went car shopping?
I just bought a Toyota.
Exactly.
My second Toyota
and
in a
you
row.
did this. Now, look, we break the list out as we do. We did a show, and we talked about EVs. We talked about hybrids. We talked about all the stuff.
Yep.
And I told you, I'm looking at doing a Camry for lease, and we talked a little bit about it. And you went shopping, and you had a good experience, but you walked over to the Toyota, and you feel good about it.
Yeah. In that episode that we did, is a big part of why I bought the car. I was staying away from the hybrid concept in general because of all the things I didn't like about EVs. And you're the one who said, no, it's not the same.
It's not.
The batteries are about $300 to replace as opposed to 20,000.
Yeah.
And
you can still drive it when your battery goes bad.
And I'll tell you, man, when I hit the gas and all of that electric torque from the electric motors kicks in, it jumps. I mean, it is way quicker than my naturally aspirated one.
You feel a better sense of traction with it too. I get people that say this.
Yeah, nice balance, and you don't have to think about the hybrid system at all. It just does its thing. It recharges when you're braking. Yeah. It's there when you want it. You click into sport mode, and I mean for a mid-level car that's extremely practical and good for things like camping and families and whatnot. It is fun to drive, and it still has the it's a sport edition, so it still has the tight suspension that I liked on my 2015 XSE. But no, I'm nothing but happy with it, and I'll give a shout out to Melbourne Toyota too, because I've never had a salesman call me back multiple times to check in to see how the car was going.
Wow.
After you
usually you sign the paperwork, you never hear from the salesman.
Yeah, beard gone, right.
Yeah. He's like texting me, hey, how's it going?
What was your name again?
Yeah. And so Melbourne Toyota, if you're in the Space Coast, Treasure Coast area, go see Rob Reese. He is a heck of a guy.
Awesome.
He does his job well.
Awesome.
That's my spiel.
Yeah, so Toyota has a name that has been built for 70 years. They, of course, have Lexus, which to me, Lexus is a Toyota on steroids. If I had any GM product go by that I really had to think about quality first, it would be a Buick. If I had to do anything in the Asian market and I had the money to spend and do it, it would be a Lexus. That's what goes. But you can buy Toyota parts for a Lexus and save a little bit of money, but Toyota, it's just a car that doesn't lose much value, holds their own. And
right.
What do you think?
Camry, the rebirth of the Camry, when we first saw it come out 3 years ago, I was like, man, what is that?
Yeah, and the lines on the new generation, I love it. Every time I look at my car, I'm like, this is a good looking car.
Yeah.
And it's not just practical.
Yeah, I always thought they were pretty nice.
Yeah.
But these FJ40s, what do you think of those?
Yeah, they're good trucks. I mean, the utilitarian. Here again, a lot of them survived because they were so strong. They were put out to the wayside and whatever, but they were buildable. They were bring them back and do, and you can find them and make them. Now, I like this one a lot better than I did the first one. Although there's probably not much of a break in the years, but something about the paint on the other one I didn't really love too much. I don't know how much custom stuff you do to these. I think that they came out of the factory looking pretty damn good, feeling pretty good. I don't know what people are doing to them to change them around, but
you know what this particular image it reminds me of, and I think it's kind of similar, is the older like 80s and 70s Jeep Grand Wagoneers.
Absolutely, the Wagoneer.
Yeah, and I'm personally,
I think it's
I like
long
the
body
Grand
line down the backside that does it.
And you look them up. I think they just look really, really good with some meaty tires on them.
Well, they're big, they're spacious, and the Wagoneer certainly has always been one of those bigger ones.
Yep.
Yeah.
Not a big fan of the new Wagoneer.
No, not a fan of the Wagoneer. I am a fan,
the old one.
I am a fan of the new Chevy Blazers, but not the new Grand Wagoneers. And here again, that price.
There's your retro paint job. I like that.
Wow.
That's taking you back to the 80s right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
I always love that Toyota color scheme with the graphics like that.
Well, those were on the 280Zs, Bryce.
Yep.
Yeah, 260s and stuff.
Yeah, that's that classic Toyota.
Absolutely.
Those are nice. I mean, I can see why they're seeing a resurgence.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
If everybody's looking at Broncos and everybody's looking at Blazers, Toyota people are going to look at Toyota.
I was just going to say, not everybody wants to buy an American classic.
Right.
This is it. And if you love Toyota, you are a Toyota guy, you're that niche, the JDMs and all that, then this makes huge sense to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if it isn't something that the market is touting as, the next hot thing, then they're still affordable.
Yeah.
Until they become that next hot thing. And when we start talking about it, we can kill it.
Look at that old 60s right there.
Love that one. Love that one.
So that's like just go on a safari.
Yeah.
Or the Paris to Dakar Rally.
Yeah. That's a cool one.
Yeah.
Bulletproof. I mean, that's what I think about when I think about a Land Cruiser. It's just, it's you can't kill it.
Yeah. You're not going to worry about breaking down. You don't even need anything but a spare, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, big jack.
Yeah, because they're tall.
And this is what, the OG? Is this Gen 1?
Yeah. I think it's so cool.
64 or something like that.
Yeah, that's an old one. I don't know exactly what year. If anybody that's watching this knows is a Land Cruiser aficionado,
leave us a comment.
Yeah, let us know tell us about them.
Yeah, any of them.
Any of them.
We love your feedback on this stuff, of course. But and like Chris said, this is not in any particular order. This isn't going down any kind of dollar scale or amount of vehicles sold through auctions. Mm-hmm. It's simply in their top 10, looking out at what is hot.
What everybody's looking for. Moving on. Second gen Camaros or Firebirds. So the second gen ones.
And there we go.
There you go. Everybody knows that. Bandit.
Yeah, I'm going to take a shot and say this might be the most popular classic car, American classic car of all time when you really look all the way through.
I think maybe you'd say that if you said movie car. It might be the movie car.
Well, the people that don't know cars, they know this one from
Yeah, they do. That's true.
Smokey and the Bandit.
Yep.
Yeah.
But this generation of Camaro and Firebird Trans Am, these are becoming very popular now.
I think that we could say that the 60s, 67 through 69 Camaro is probably the most sought after and wanted Camaro.
100%.
I think the 70, 71 Big Mouth, that was another one that was very, very sought after because it was so limited in a year and a half production. There you go. But you get into the Firebird and Camaros of the late 70s and 80s, they still kept a pretty sexy line as far as what the Camaros were starting off with in the second gen.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
First gen was...
The 80s Camaro was definitely one of the best looking cars of the 80s.
A lot of them fell off and just went to shit, man. The Dodge Charger in 87, it looked like the Omni outside that I got right. And it was just horrible, atrocious. But they kept these going, and I think that is what's allowing them to be hot now, is they still look good. But these are the cars that are now on the market.
They are.
If you're going to go buy a 60s, early 70s Camaro, you're going to pay $55 or up.
Well, yeah, you're going to pay a lot of money.
You're still buying these for $15.
Yep. They're the affordable classic you can get into.
You're buying it for 6, needing work.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's see what else we got here.
That's a beautiful car.
Yeah, I love the color.
Yep.
The Screaming Eagle, this is a two-tone black and bronze, as where the black one is simply a gold Screaming Eagle on there. But
this is previous to the Bandit car, right?
This is previous. This is after.
That was after. Okay.
This is after. Maybe that is a 76. The Bandit was what, a 78? So maybe this is a 76. I think it is 76 because that front grille was...
It's different.
Yeah, almost ugly.
Yeah, let's go back again.
I'm telling you right now, there's a Bandit fan that's going to come across this and just light us up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they also, there's a company that went out there and built, they created a company, they built a bunch of these in 2010.
Yeah.
And they recreated all modern everything, but they went with that classic look, Bandit look and everything they did. And they were all special order built by number. Customer, I believe it was. I don't know, the company is still around. I think they did these and then aren't doing more, but I don't know on that. But we'll get lit up on it because I'm not.
We're not experts in every car here, but
we're not John Cramen, okay?
Yeah,
and boy, John, we'll have to get him back. It's been a while since we've had John, so we have to talk to him about some of this.
Yeah, but no, honestly, actually, yes, if you're looking to get into it, if you're a muscle car guy who wants to get a classic, those second-gen Camaros and Firebirds, that's a good place to start.
All unibodies, but they can all be strengthened and built and can handle any kind of engine you want. You get into the T-tops and convertibles as with any other car. You got to do some structural integrity when you start beating them up beyond what is
designed for.
Yeah, stockability. So,
okay. The name is not surprising. I think the generation of this car will be the surprise. So it's a Dodge Charger.
Okay.
And obviously, 68s and 70s have always been popular.
Yeah.
Now the third gen, 71 to 74 and laters are becoming more popular. They just are. People are digging the style now more than they used to. They're a little bit longer. And
I almost want to say that it comes back to what's available in that affordability line.
Affordable range, yeah.
Everything from 67 to 72 is expensive.
It is.
It's just for whatever the baby boomers are out buying these, or whatever the next generation is, which is what I am by 1 year. You just, I don't know.
And the ones that are available that have not already had a bunch of money dropped in them, even the people that still want, 20 grand for something that needs 30 grand worth of work.
Yeah.
And so either way, you're into a car for $50,000. So then you look at the ones that are restored. Now you're looking at $70,000, $80,000.
Yeah, we say there's a seat for every butt and a butt for every seat, but certainly your pocketbook that you're sitting on, it matters as to what you're going to buy and what you're going to do with it when you buy it.
Absolutely.
That is a very modern paint on a classic car that looks great.
Yeah, they did a good job with that one for that year Charger there.
I love how the door tucks down and the paint narrows in the middle where the door tucks down, and then it widens over the rear quarter and the paint widens back out.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, it really accentuates the lines.
Very good balance.
They did a good job of making that look more attractive than they initially were, I think.
And the nose, the grill, it does have that cush to it, so that black separation is pretty normal. Usually it's not separated by the paint, but that looks really good.
Yeah. I like the wheels on it too.
Yeah.
Simple.
Kreger, but they pulled them out. Yeah.
It's a good looking car.
Yeah. All right. And the last one we got for the Dodge Chargers, another purple one.
Yeah, this is a 74, 75 model. And I think the first picture was almost of the same year, but different car. But these are become, and this has 383 on it. So, little retrograde going on with the hood and stuff of all that. But maybe an aftermarket product even. But it's they're still two doors. They're still good looking cars. They still have a great name, a great badge with them. And I think that adds to, and I have a hard time, I guess, getting my mindset out. It's these are what's available to buy now for a reasonable sum of money.
And you got to think, it's the newer generations that are into these Like, because to them, they don't have any negative connotation to any of these generations. Whereas, us growing up, like, oh, you don't want that year. You don't want that one. You don't want that. We look for this one.
Right.
There's the Gen Z guys, they're, getting their 20s and they're like, man, I really like that. Yeah. Well, they never heard anybody, don't get a 74. You want a 67.
Right.
They never heard that. They don't care.
Right.
They're like, I like that. And that's what I want to get. And it's affordable.
Yeah.
And I'll, resto-mod it to make it look what I want it to look like.
My 18-year-old daughter has a 94 Dodge Stealth.
Okay.
Your 12-year-old, I think you said, likes
Jeeps.
She's
a Jeep Wrangler girl.
Right.
She wants a Jeep Wrangler.
Right. Does she like them because the ducks on the Jeeps?
Nope. She don't care about the ducks.
Okay.
She just thinks they're cool.
Do you guys know what the duck thing is all about with the Jeeps?
Yeah.
Can you explain that to me?
Real quick. A chick in Pennsylvania during the pandemic, she bought a bunch of these and started handing them out to people because nobody was talking to anybody. So she started out handing them out to Jeep enthusiasts. She just handed them a duck, and it just caught on through Facebook. Somebody gave me a duck, and they go, "Oh, it's a Jeep thing," and it just spread. So now, hey, Chevrolet's got one. I want to comment on it. I'm not going to tell you what it is. What has Chevrolet got going on that people are now putting these on their dashes or handing them out to other owners? Chevrolet, leave a comment.
Okay.
Tell me. Okay.
I'm curious. I don't know. I've never heard it.
I'll send you a sticker or something stupid. So, we'll get you on. If you could do a live video feed, we'll do you next week, and you can tell us how you learned about what Chevrolet was doing with what animal.
Speaking of Chevrolet,
what do we got? Oh,
next on the list.
Yeah.
This is something that will probably always be on the list, and that is your beautiful Corvette. C2s always have been hot. Are always going to be desirable. C3s are now starting to become more popular. I think it also goes back to, okay, these are what my pocketbook can handle, but the lines on a C3, especially the earlier ones, in my opinion, man, they're good looking. They're good looking. So the 76s, I think that's a good looking car, and
this is the last Corvette that you can buy before it became the 80s dog. I mean, those cars are still going for $5,000.
The C5, the C4s,
right?
Yep.
And so this car lets you feel that you could still be in a 72 Stingray. And it just gives you that. What one of the things that I always know about when I'm in an old Corvette C2, C3 is that when you take off, that back end drops. It just loads, squats and goes. And that's how I always know that you're in an older Corvette. They changed so much of that in the 80s.
Beautiful.
So that is a 1967. And God, I love that car.
Probably $100,000 car. If not more.
Yeah. So me growing up, 66 kid, I fell in love with a 63 split window. And then I quickly realized that I was never going to be able to afford that. So I said the 66 to me is the year I want. But then I started learning about the 67 and that Stingray, that hood, the tail coming out, and just the way it looked like it was attacking the windshield, the fenders that swole up over the wheels in the back, they swole up in the rear, and I just loved the side pipes that came down and made it look like, man, this thing can't get over a speed bump if it wanted to. This has bigger wheels on it, red line tires. I mean, that is sexy. That's just sexy. I just want to walk up to my TV screen, kiss it. That's so sexy. God.
So I think that's a great example of what you were talking about earlier, where 60s designs compared to early 80s designs.
Yeah.
Just night and day. Night and day.
Well, and am I wrong in thinking that the C3 was the last Corvette that was called a Stingray?
Yes.
Okay. And the new one...
They did come out with a Stingray in like 21. They did Stingray at 21, I think it was. The C7s, I guess that is, right? Is that a C7 at 21?
But I thought it was a C8 was the first
maybe
Stingray C8? Since the C3.
Maybe it is.
And if you look at the C8, the lines on it are as...
More Stingray-ish.
Way closer to the C3.
Yeah. I think they have a chrome emblem on them of a Stingray that kind of gives that away as what they're trying to do with it. It wasn't as pronounced as what we just looked at on the 67.
Yeah. All right, we got another one here.
Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful cars.
Look how much higher that is. Now they've got the polyglass tires on there, the factory wheels with the knockoff and all that. So certainly that contrast. Now same car, off by 1 year, that's probably a 68. But what the other one, how they painted it, dropped it, enhanced it, and everything else, man, it really, really was so badass. This one here is very classic and iconic, strong,
But closer to stock, right?
Very close to stock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Black on black. Beautiful. Beautiful.
And the last on our Corvette, Slideshow.
Yeah. So still going with a knockoff, but it's an aftermarket 20. And, just a great car, man. That big bubble back window certainly looks like the Barracuda of 65 right there, maybe. They had that 64, 65 Barracuda that did that.
Yep.
So maybe a little bit of design out of that came through that.
And I think they tried that because the bubble back, back window on the C2s, I think looks good. They tried again later in the C3s. I think it started in 78, 79, 80, where it had a big bubble back window in the C3s.
That's right.
And I just don't think it just didn't have the same effect. It didn't look as good, but the front end was so long on those as well.
Because the other ones, they usually come, the C3s come with the luggage rack on the back. It's a very small flash trunk. But there was a year that the glass was operational for trunk and stuff. So, yeah.
But I think the bubble works on the C2s, not so much on the C3s.
Yeah, I'm a big Monte Carlo guy. Gen 1 is Monte Carlo is my favorite car that I do and own and drive and do all that stuff with. I am a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. God bless Dale. And he drove the 86 Euro Coupe Monte Carlo, that 1 year only, where it had that big bubble back window. Tana hates him. I love him. If I could find one, buy 100 grand plus cars.
Oof.
And you're not touching it. So
All right.
yeah. Not my budget.
Number 9. We're almost at the end here. Land Rover Series 1, 2, and 3. So oldies here. We have, from the 40s to the early 80s. These Land Rovers Series 1, 2, and 3. And honestly, I'll be 100%.
They haven't changed.
No.
What is your honesty? What?
Honestly, I didn't even know these existed until we saw this list. These Series 1, 2, and 3s.
What?
They weren't even on my radar.
Oh, I love these things.
I feel ashamed admitting it, but I'm going to be honest. I'm an honest person.
I don't know why I can't get my hand around the Ford Broncos, especially Bronco 2s of old. Maybe because I'm just that stigmatism on Ford and stuff. But the old Land Rovers, and I say they haven't changed. They maintain that square, rigid body. I imagine they're probably like using the same frame, but with just updated stuff. I mean, same wheelbase, probably. But they are just
they're cool,
classic, and iconic, and they've got a cult following like Volkswagen does. Yeah, like Volkswagen with the buses.
Yeah, when I started looking into these, I was like, "What is this?" And of course, you go down the Google rabbit hole.
Yeah,
and you learn so much so fast, and I was like, wow, these are really cool, and I'm surprised they were never on my radar.
Wow!
So learn something every day.
Yeah,
even at an old age. Speaking of which, my birthday's tomorrow. So I'm getting older.
Is it?
It is.
Happy early
older and
birthday,
older and older.
Man.
So
yeah, I guess that's coming up in there. Okay.
All right. Do we have any more Land Rover images?
No, that was it.
All right.
All right.
Last but not least.
Okay.
Is not a specific model. Resto-mods. The blanket of blankets, Resto-mods. Like this right here. That's Resto-modded if I've ever seen one.
And if you had to guess as a guy going to an auction, you say, I'm looking at this car go across the block. What do you think a person has into that to build that?
More money than they could ever sell it for.
And isn't that right? So Resto-mods, going right out of the gate, let's just say it, Resto-mods are for a certain person to have and to hold, to own, and to build for exactly what he wants, she wants. You don't build this to sell. And I've talked to John Creeman about this. And Resto-mods, I say, hey, what's more popular, automatic or stick? He goes, well, it's all about what you want to build because it's a Resto-mod. You're building it for you. If you're going to build it to sell, don't build a Resto-mod that is extreme one way or the other.
Yep.
You have to kind of keep it basic so that everybody understands that I can own that too.
Yep. Like that previous picture, that's a labor of love. That's a labor of love.
The shop that built that has, I want to say, $150,000 to $200,000 into it.
Yeah.
And I don't think you understand. I mean,
the lay frame, just to lay the frame down. That's just so much money.
I'm sure it has
and time.
$40,000 frame underneath it.
Yeah. Yeah. And we didn't even talk about any of the details that you saw.
No. Just to put the door handles in that they have. It's 20 hours a door. Just to put the door handles in.
And labor rates and, but you can, when it comes to Resto-mods, you got all kinds of options. You can I've seen 2-door Impala, 4-door Impalas getting resto-modded. You know, 4-door Impalas were never popular, so why not resto-mod them and make them what you want them to be, right?
Right.
And I think that's where the resto-mods really came into, because a lot of people, you know, older generations, make it what it's supposed to be, make it what it used to be. Well, yeah, generations now is like, this thing was never popular. Nobody ever liked it. You know, guess what? I'm going to go and do what I think should have been
All
done
out.
on
All
this.
All out.
From the get-go.
All out.
Yep.
I mean, you're talking big tubs. You're talking about bagging them.
The Alfa Romeo.
24s on. And Gulia. You got Gulia. And Gulia is Marcy's new car.
Yeah,
and
not that though.
No, not that, not that. But the Resto-mod is such a wide open. So I own, I guess we counted them the other day. I own 21. I just bought them. I own 22 cars that are to build and do and flip or whatever else. But one of them is a 1965 Olds 442. It is an F85 model. It was bought right here in Melbourne. I am the third owner of it, and I'm still down the road from where it came from. It has mini tubs. It's got an LS with a Tremec 5 in it. I'm going to back half it and put a big rear end and do all that for Lincoln stuff. It is a Resto-mod. I saw a Pontiac GTO go, a 65 model Resto-mod, went through Mecum 2.5 years ago in Kissimmee, and it brought $130,000, $128,500 or something, but $130,000. I was pretty blown away. I paid $13,000 for mine. A gentleman was building it, had a 9-year project out of it, and died through COVID. And his dad was a customer of ours, and I ended up buying it. But I know that I've got something hot there, and this is almost something that you want to go Art Morse or some sort of chassis, then just step up and do. The more you put into it, the more you get. But are you ever going to get your money back out of it? I own an auto repair shop, a restoration shop, so I can build them for a lot cheaper than a lot of people can. But now when I go to build them, for me to flip and sell, I'm taking money from the business because my guys aren't making the business money. They're making me money, and the business is paying them, and that's not what we try to do. So that's why mine are all sitting and waiting for me to retire, that I can start building and doing myself. Now, you've got a different idea for that. We're gonna maybe change some of the things up down the road and everything. But that's one of the cars that I own that I'm excited about doing a Resto-mod on. A lot of mine are not going to keep stock, like my Dodge Dakota convertible pickup truck. I think we're going to keep that stock. But
I think you should. I think you should.
Yeah, but the 70 Monty, now I don't want to tell too much about it, but I bought a donor car that is crazy, and we're going to cut the floor pans out of the Monty and take it off the frame and do some wicked shit. And I'm going to try and do something that's never been done, that I have learned about. People take the first gen Monties and they make them convertibles and do some stuff. I have not found anything that anybody done what I'm going to do to this. We hope to bring it all to you through one of the things we'll talk about real quick. We got a minute, Bryce, right? I don't know how long we are into the show.
About 47.
All right. So real quick, we're going to start doing some stuff. We're starting to do a couple of restorations over at Dolphin Auto, and we are trying to keep a lot more of a camera on these. We're going to try to bring a lot more, and we're not going to bring them in segments and say, hey, we're working on this, and this is what we're doing. We feel that we want to capture what we can for the audience to have a little bit more knowledge about the full build. Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to try and record.
Bring some entertainment value.
Yeah. But to have the whole thing done,
absolutely,
and then go through it as we go.
Yep.
So that'll be fun. That'll be fun for hopefully for you all and for us to be able to present to you all as well.
Yeah, because you hear him talk about all the stories of the cars and like the stories of Pearl and all that. It'd be really nice to video document that and share it with everybody.
Yeah,
I think it'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that does it for our list and for this segment.
That's the list.
Or whatever. So thanks to Chris for getting the research on that. And
real quick, put in the comments what would be your classic car that you would go after.
And also a comment. How about a restoration on a Resto-mod or even just a Resto-mod build? Where do you start? And what do you know is a limit and a budget? And how do you know when to stop? Those are good questions. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. This is American Car Classics Radio.
Don't try to hide, baby, 'cause I'll find you on this land. And don't try to
Thanks for sticking with us this long. If you've hung in there through that last episode, then I appreciate it very much. You're obviously your last segment. You're obviously a good car person like we are, just out to do a little bit of banter and communication with the world. So Bryce and Chris, certainly do appreciate you guys being here and doing this with me and everything else. It's
always a good time.
Yeah. We're all busy, and we get to break down and do this, and it does flow. It is an hour of passion and fun and everything else for us and stuff, but it is something that's a labor of love, as is building a car. You get out there, you enjoy it, you do it. Maybe you come inside and you get your lemonade or your iced tea and you turn us on and you get to hang out for a little bit with us, and maybe we lighten your day or do whatever. But I do appreciate it. Chris does. And we do this for the labor of love for ourselves and for you all too. So we hope that the information was good. So
speaking of information,
yeah,
you got something to share for everybody.
Yeah, a little tech talk. And almost a tip to the guy. I went to the Gen 1 70 through 70 Monte Carlo, 70 through 72 Monte Carlo group on Facebook. And I started talking to a guy named Jimmy Smits out of Houston, Texas, who had posted a simple question about back pressure. He wanted to know, building an exhaust system for a radical car, how important is back pressure? Because his thing through conversation was, well, you look at these dragsters, 4,000, 8,000, 12,000 horsepower. They didn't even have an exhaust system. NASCAR, 800, 900,000 horsepower, and they don't have mufflers. They're very short exhausts coming out mid-car. So how is back pressure important? He wants to go wide open exhaust and out. It is important. I'll tell you that new cars are built and designed around back pressure. We go to replace an engine, and they will void a warranty if you don't show proper back pressure readings on install. It's that crucial for fuel trim, for a lot of things that are computer controlled in cars today, that you go take a straight car, a Resto-mod, anything else you're building and doing. It's so important. But on the street cars, you hear guys going down the road, they take their foot off the gas, and you get a cackle that's sucking cold air back through a pipe. You've still got enough raw fuel built in there that you're going to suck it in. It's going to ignite post system, and it's going to give you that little cold pop. Mufflers are important. You can go with a 2-chamber or a single chamber, and it's going to give you a lot of that noise and flow, but there's no back pressure, so you want good pipe in that. So when you run a marathon, you hope you get good clear lungs. You want to be able to run and breathe. You have to exhale as much as you're doing taking in. And an engine is an air pump. We know that. And you're building more power through forcing more air in the ram systems, the ProChargers, turbos, superchargers, all that stuff. So having back pressure is super important. I think there was a model for a 67 Camaro 6-cylinder that they didn't have any mufflers on them. They crinkled the pipe, causing just enough of the baffle to have the exhaust change its flow to create back pressure. So it is very important to have it. Building systems is a lot of fun for me. I get to do it, but you've got to have knowledge of what you need out of the system and what the customer wants. That's important, but give him what he's going to need for performance so that he enjoys it going down the road too.
Okay. I have a question then. So if we need back pressure, that you were saying NASCAR, and I'm not a NASCAR person, but you say NASCARs, they have very short, their exhaust, they don't really have, or dragsters mid exhaust.
No.
How did they develop back pressure? Does their engine's not as crucial?
They don't worry about it, because that 500-mile motor is going to get torn down after 500 miles.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, they're burning up, and they build them to the edge of explosion. I've said, since I watched John Force drive a car with 4,000 horsepower, I said these things are nothing but controlled explosions. That's all they are. As we're a car that we're driving, even we're building, we hope that we're going to get 100,000, 200,000 out of them. That this motor, when they get done, they're resleeving them. Their cylinders are honed. Their cylinders are washed out, and everything else, they're worn. They're wiped. So when they have to go through qualifying and testing and everything with one motor, they're not allowed to do changes anymore. They had to redesign how they're doing it. But of course, technology comes along so much. Bearing technology, where you can make a bearing super tight, but the oil's going to flow through it, but not for thousands of miles.
Okay.
So they don't care too much about it.
Okay. Well, yeah, makes sense then.
Yeah, raw horsepower.
Yeah, that's what they're looking for.
Yep.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know there's always been, you get on almost 80 forum on the internet, and people have an opinion about back pressure and mufflers and catalytic converters.
Anything and everything. And being a
tech for modern cars and having the love for the old stuff like we do, you have to separate a lot of the technology end for the love of horsepower end, because there's a big difference in it. So, but Jimmy, I appreciate talking with you and going through some of that with you and stuff. And here again, we were sharing that on a Facebook page where other people had to input and got to see and do and maybe learn, and got a lot of the thumb up likes from people from the comments that were giving them some knowledge on it too.
And if you guys got any questions that you would like Kenny to answer, or I would say me, but I don't probably have the answer for them, let us know.
I think Chris has more in the head than he knows about on these cars and stuff, and all of that. But please do drop us a line. We are busy during the week, and we do try to respond to a lot of stuff. But Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, we're out there. So American Car Classics at yahoo.com is our email address, and reach out there and like us and tell a friend. And we just appreciate y'all hanging out and everything else. All right.
You know what else is happening tonight?
Oh, yeah. First game of the Monday Night Football.
Or Thursday Night Football.
Of NFL.
Football season's kicking off.
Yeah, I went to a pre-season game, Buccaneers versus Miami Dolphins. The Buccaneers won. Yeah. Got to wear a classic orange sickle hat of the Bucks, and took Tiana and Talon and Taryn and had a good old time. So that was awesome.
Went to a Bucs game a couple years ago. I'm a 49er fan.
Okay.
Went to the Bucs
George
game
Kittle
a few years ago. I got a George Kittle. He's one of my favorite. He got his jersey. He's one of my favorite players.
Okay.
Hoping for a good season.
Yeah.
As most fans are at this moment in time.
Well, I wasn't a Kaepernick guy, but I'm a John Lynch guy out of the Bucs, and he went to the 49ers organization.
He's their GM,
for a long time, right?
Yep.
So I love that.
Yeah, that Lynch team was great. I'm still stuck in motorsports and baseball, man. I'm not ready for football.
Not ready for
Well, you went to a Rays game here not too long ago.
Went to a Rays game. Quickly understood why they need a new place to play baseball.
The ball hits the rafters.
And that's the low end of my
list.
The main one was they don't seem to understand how to climate control that building. You walk around. That's what I do when I go to a new ballpark. I want to see everything. I walk around the whole place.
Well, it's such a great
You're on
park.
the same level, on the same concourse.
Yes.
And it'll go from air conditioned to you feel like you're outside, back to air conditioned again. And the seats that we were at, it was out in left field. I mean, I couldn't hang out there. It was hot. You felt like you were still outside.
Okay, yeah, this is Tropicana Field, and it has a canvas top, and it does have a lot of issues. They are looking at doing some building and everything. They want to stay in St. Pete, but I bet they're going to end up moving out to Tampa, where it's going to be. That stadium in 1998 is where I saw Metallica, Seven Dust, Kid Rock, Creed. Great concert.
I bet it's great for. I'm going to be going out to Miami in a couple weeks with Kim. We're going to see the Dodgers. Come to town, so I'm looking forward to that. Dodgers being in town, I spent a little bit more money.
Yeah,
and so I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah,
but man, have you guys heard anything about what's going on in F1 right now?
No,
we have touched on that on this show from time to time.
Yes, we have,
and
we know that last time you and I talked about it, Bryce, there was a lot of change up mid-season, which never ever happens.
Yes,
F1 is very, very, let's call it upscale classy. They got their shit together.
Classy. Well,
they come out with a program, they run that program, and then at the end of the year, silly season like everybody else.
Right.
But
we've been talking about Max Verstappen for a long time. He's been running the tables. Nobody could touch Red Bull.
No, yeah, him and
all of a sudden, it's not even a sure thing that he'll win the championship.
No,
this year.
Hamilton won once.
There was 7 different winners in the last 2 months, I think. But McLaren has just come out of being the middle of the pack, and they are now the team to beat. And in the last Grand Prix, I think Red Bull finished 5th and 6th.
Wow.
And they couldn't compete anymore.
Wow.
They have lost
unheard of.
Their edge. And it's incredible to think one of the winningest seasons of all time, maybe the winningest season of all time last year.
Who left mid-season?
Adrian Newey.
And can that at all?
Is that a factor? I haven't heard too many people talking about that, but
that doesn't mean that they're not talking about it.
But yeah, behind closed doors, is his departure the reason why they're no longer improving and other teams are improving and passing them by? Who knows? But
who's in charge? Who are you going to? I mean, if he was the one that there was a basic resolve,
the grand master.
I mean, then who's everybody going to, and who's perceiving and receiving all these ideas from other people, and how are they digesting or delegating it back out?
Yeah. So it's gone from
Crazy.
a situation where you knew who was going to win every race, and it almost got boring. In a lot of ways, it probably did get boring. And now you have no idea what's going to happen.
Wow.
There's 3-4 teams. Ferrari won the last one. They snuck in there at the track, the Monza track in Italy.
Okay.
But I am all of a sudden totally dialed in, and I just can't wait to see how this is going to end.
Is F1 the one that does the race in Vegas?
Yes.
They're the ones.
I think aren't they getting ready to do another one?
They
out
are.
there? Yeah.
They got a 10-year contract that's going to be happening for a long time.
My in-laws
hate it.
Still live there, and they hate it. They're local. I have friends that there. I still go visit my friends, and they hate
Locals hate
My
this.
niece works on the strip. She works at the Paris.
And she hates it.
She hates it. 'Cause
Yeah,
she has to go to work, right? So I mean,
Yeah. My daughter Ashley got kicked out of the Eiffel Tower because of his age. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, you got next month. You got the finale of the IMSA season, and they've been expanding that too. It's no longer just the WeatherTech races. They've got what they call the VP series.
It's getting big, and we know I've got Brian Glaze out at Daytona, and he talks to us, Bryce, about how much IMSA stuff there really is. This league is blowing up.
It is growing faster than I think anything else sports car or racing wise in the United States right now.
Well, we'll talk about getting out to Daytona for the 24 senior class and doing some of that stuff this year. We'll also talk about getting out to Turkey Rod Run this year.
Yep.
Let's try and do some of that as well.
Yeah, I want to do that again. This time I'll be physically prepared for just
miles and miles
hours of shooting and
Yes.
footage, and I wasn't physically ready for it.
Well, I've got the electric bike. I've got the mini bike. So we've got those taken care of. Maybe we'll just get a golf cart. You got a golf cart?
I don't.
We have to. Somebody has to buy a golf cart here. If you have a golf cart you want to donate to us, hey, let me know.
We'll take the golf cart
right now.
We'll put our logos, put your name on the back, let tag or something, and go out to Texas Turkey Rod Run. So, yeah. So sports season's coming up, and NASCAR is winding down here in the next month and a half, and they'll be out. And
Has there been any surprises on the NASCAR front this year? Or
the biggest surprise is that I haven't gone to a race in almost 2 years, and I haven't watched a race in since the 500. I don't think. I've just been so busy with it, and now we're looking at moving. Personally, not Dolphin Auto, although that could be on too, you know. But yeah, so no, I don't. I think I saw something about the 3-car won a race about 3 weeks back, and that was with Austin Dillon, who I thought was going to be out of the car, and maybe was touted to get out of it this year, but now with a win and a strong finish last week, he might be back in or something, because I know there's some news going around that camp. So,
and he won the 500, what, like 6-7 years ago?
Austin Dillon was even, I guess probably 6 years ago, yeah.
Grandson of the crew chief, I think I remember something like that.
Grandson of the owner.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richard Childress.
Interesting.
Very cool.
All right. Well, we're dragging on. We'll get out of here.
Yep.
We appreciate you all a ton.
Thanks for viewing.
Yeah, this is the American Car Classics radio podcast. Remember that. Take care.